My boyfriend, M19, smacked my face, F19. What do I do or say to him?
So I woke up this morning, like a lot of mornings, to my boyfriend smacking my ass while I'm still trying to sleep. I'm just like, stop, I'm trying to sleep, and he continues doing it and likes to see me annoyed. So this morning we're both off of work and he woke me up by doing that this morning and I just made an annoyed sound.
He fell back asleep and then I woke up.
I was awake for a while but then I decided to do the same to him. Except he gets mad and smacks my face really hard.
Mind you, this is not the first time he smacked me, so I smacked him back without thinking because I was just shocked that that was his reaction and that's the first instinct I had.
Now anytime I do something back he's gonna do it more harder and more times than I did. So he smacked my face really hard and tells me, if you're gonna act like this then go home. I'm trying to sleep, and I told him I was just doing what you do to me every time I'm sleeping.
He didn't say nothing and went back to sleep.
I don't like when he does this and I'm not trying to start an argument with him.
But what do I tell him?
Or what do I do? Update. I did end up leaving when he said go home. His car was parked behind mine so I had to wake him up again and ask him to move it. He asked me why am I leaving and I said, so you just forgot you didn't just smack the shit out of me? And he told me he was half asleep and didn't think he even smacked me hard. And I told him he did and I know he knows he did. He said, well, you were messing with me while I was sleeping, and I told him he does the same and he started laughing. We kept talking and I got upset because by that time I made this post and saw the comments telling me this is not okay. I was telling him this isn't just a casual thing that happens and he didn't seem like he was taking anything serious. I got upset and started crying and he hugged me and asked why I was crying in an annoyed voice. But still hugging me. But anyways, he ends up saying sorry and that he won't slap me again and said he loves me after I left over text. I see all of the comments saying to leave and thank you all for taking the time to give your advice and try and talk some sense into me. I've been wanting to leaving him for a while, but I'm also dealing with my parents divorcing and splitting up into different houses and no longer talking to my mom, who was my only emotional support. As of right now I feel like I have no home. The only place that feels like home to me is his house. So as much as I know staying with him is not good whatsoever, it's so hard to leave. I don't have any friends to go to for any of this, I only have him. Say, I won't tolerate abuse and I'm done with you. Then block him and move on with your life. If a man smacked me in the face, I would be charging him with assault. This is not healthy relationship behavior. It is far from it. Throw this man back into the scummy pond he came from. You dump him. He hit you and doesn't even feel bad enough to apologize for doing it. Why exactly you want to be with him? I see nothing except for physical violence, immaturity and complete disregard of you and your feelings. Girl, you are 19 not 50. Find a guy who doesn't slap you at least. You break up. It's the only good answer here. This guy is abusive. Go home, block him, and live your life without this creep. Why do you want to be with someone who treats you like this? Boyfriend 47M made fun of my back hair 29F. Should I be offended or just a joke? So at church today I arrived and it's hot outside and I have a heavy backpack, so my back was a bit sweaty after the long walk. My boyfriend came and gave me a hug and was like, oh sweaty back here. Did you not shave your back this week? Now I actually have a little bit of hair on my back, and he has previously picked at it and plucked them with his fingers as a joke. But his son also joined in the joke. I laughed and pretended it was funny and just sort of laughed away. But actually it's made me a bit self-conscious, and I didn't think it was funny. IDK, what to do now? It seems like a small kind of stupid issue to raise. Help please? I'm 29-year-old female and he's a 47-year-old male. You're welcome to find a 29-year-old without back hair who wants to date a 47-year-old man with a child. Do you legit think he has made it to 47 without realizing that you shouldn't make fun of a person's appearance? He mocked you intentionally. Why do people put up with this bullshit? You are 29 and your boyfriend is a solid 2 decades older than you, knocking on 50, and he's treating you like this? ONAL significant other TOO teaching his kid, who is, how old, to do the same. You are an object that should conform to his tastes. In this instance, not be human with body hair. It's not stupid or small or funny. He's mocking your body. At 30 years old, you should know better than be putting up with this. Come on up. Red flag number 147M, 28F. 19 years age gap. Red flag no. 2 mocking you and making you feel less than and then painting it as a joke. You know the answer to your question.
The question should be, how quickly should I kick him out of my life? The answer would be, ASAP, so you can move on and enjoy life without him. Personally, I would be offended because A. People sweat, B. People have hair on their skin. I doubt this guy shaves his back, and making a joke in front of his son is basically saying, see son, women should have no hair where we don't want them to, and it's safe to ridicule them according to our standards. This might seem harsh, but that is my analysis of the unconscious assumptions behind comments like that, and I have no time for it.
I'd never imagine talking to my girlfriend like that.
Why are you dating a mean older man?
I overheard my 26 female
boyfriend, 27M, talking about me with his friends. What can I say to him? My boyfriend and I recently moved in together and he had a housewarming party with his friends.
I made rice, hot sauce, cleaned and prepared the meat.
They got here and I was sitting in the living room. They all said hi to me, and once we ate they complimented my food. One of them said that my rice is better than his girlfriend's rice.
I thought that was rude. I had a few drinks and wanted to smoke, so I go smoke. I don't try to hang out with them because in the past they've complained to my boyfriend about brining me around too much and wanted him to stop.
We also have nothing to talk about. I don't want to sit around 6-8 men who talk about work or girls in disrespectful ways.
Well, in the garage while smoking I heard my name come up a few times. IDK if I was drunk, but I heard them ask my boyfriend if he eats me out and he said he doesn't like to.
Well, they asked why and I didn't hear my boyfriend's answer, but then I heard one of them say, "You were hoping for it to be pink," followed by laughing. At this point I'm trying my hardest to listen just so I know I'm hearing correctly, but they changed the subject. A few minutes passed by and again I hear my name a few times and something about not hanging out with them.
I wanted to go to my bedroom so bad, but if I heard what I heard, I didn't want to walk by them. My boyfriend went in to check on me and was acting normal and offered to help me to the bedroom cause I told him I felt drunk. I declined and I hear them go upstairs, so I take that chance to go inside. Once inside I again hear my name and them saying that I'm mad. I just fell asleep cause I was sleepy, but I want to ask my boyfriend what was said. I doubt he'll give me an honest answer, but if they did talk about eating me out and how I'm not pink down there, why would my boyfriend allow that or even share that information with them?
Why would he allow them to talk bad about me, in my own house? So you know his friends are bad people and you chose not to hang around them.
Okay.
Did you think your boyfriend was different?
He's an angel and he only hangs with them because, what? So now you know your boyfriend is in a hole.
What are you going to do about it?
Will you stay and try to change him so he's not in a hole around you but still in a hole, or will you leave? Because he's an asshole.
You cooked for all these a-holes? Your boyfriend being the biggest one. Don't date men who are part of a misogynistic friend group.
Your boyfriend and his friends are acting like a bunch of disrespectful 16-year-old boys. I am sorry, this really sucks, but when you have a boyfriend with asshole friends, it's safe to assume he is also an AH.
If you know they all sit around talking shit on women, then you should know they're going to say the same shit about you. If he thinks it's fine for him and his friends to say disgusting things about women, then of course he'd be fine with what they say about you and would make his own gross comments. If he was a decent guy, of course he would have defended you. He likely wouldn't even want to be friends with them. But he is one of them.
You deserve better. How can I, 32F, rely on my husband, 34M, after this?
My husband, 34M, and I, 32F, have 3 kids, 6M, 4F, 10 months M.
We live in a rural community and had to travel to the city for me to get some major medical treatment. I've been really sick for some time and have needed the surgery for a long time, but it had to be postponed because my kids all got pneumonia. The plan was for him and the kids to stay with his parents whilst I was in hospital. Leading up the surgery, both my sons got sick.
My oldest just had a cold, but the baby had high temps and projectile vomiting.
I contemplated postponing again, but my doctor advised that was too risky for my health. I felt awful about having to leave the boys, especially my baby. My husband had wanted to go to somewhat of a social event the day after my surgery. It was a bit of a drive. He promised me that he would be home for the kids in the evening. I was still in hospital, his mum and dad would be with the kids during the day. I wasn't happy about it. I told him that I didn't think that a social hobby should be a priority. He made the decision to go anyway.
Here's where it gets complicated. After my surgery, I was in recovery and they couldn't get my pain under control.
I was in a really bad way.
After hours of me being inconsolable, they decided to try a stat dose of something really strong followed by a PCA pump.
I had an adverse reaction to the large dose.
I went into respiratory distress and became unresponsive.
Blood pressure and HR skyrocketed, which is dangerous as I have an existing heart condition.
They managed to stabilize me, but after that I was catatonic for some time.
I was also having intense hallucinations during that time.
By the time I was able to communicate, I was quite upset and was apparently crying out for my baby. That's really unusual for me. I'm usually pretty stoic. My doctor has known me for a while and he knew that if I was that distressed, something was seriously wrong. My husband brought the baby up that night to see me but left the kids with mother-in-law because I was still quite unwell.
I told him that it was really important to me that he didn't leave the kids overnight without one of us. This was the first time I had really been away from the baby. I had at most left him for 2-3 hours.
Yesterday, he went to the social event.
He decided to go back to our house before going to his parents'. I felt like something was fishy, so I asked if he was planning on staying at our house.
He said yes.
I got upset and told him that I was not comfortable with that, and I wanted him to be with the kids.
He told me that he would drive to his parents and I didn't hear from him after that.
When he came to get me from hospital this morning, I asked him what time he got back to his parents and he told me 12:30 a.m. He told me that he was really tired from having to drive so late. We picked up the kids from his parents and drove back to our house this afternoon. When we got home, I realized that his overnight bag was already in the house. I was the first person in the door.
I asked our oldest son if Dad was at Nana's house when he woke up.
He said no, but he came over later.
I asked my husband if he had lied to me about where he slept and his response was, "Damn right I did."
We started arguing, during which time he said I was controlling and that he lied to avoid a fight.
I'm still in a lot of pain, and when I'm upset I typically need some alone time to feel a little bit more composed. My husband knows this about me. Eventually I walked out to the kitchen and I hear my daughter telling my husband that he needs to apologize for hurting my feelings. He said he was sorry, so I asked what he was specifically apologizing for. He has said that he only needs to apologize for the lie, because nothing else that he did was wrong.
He is adamant that he is not in the wrong and that he has the right to make decisions about the kids' care.
Whilst I do agree with that, I don't think we should ever explicitly disrespect the other parent's wishes about the kids.
The event he went to was not compulsory or a work commitment.
Given how sick I had been, I also think it's fairly irresponsible to drive hours away with poor phone service. Anything could have happened and he wouldn't have been around. The cherry on top of my frustration Sunday is that I realized just before dinner that no one had done homework with my son over the weekend. It's usually set on a Friday, but he got his on Thursday so has had an extra night.
He's just been diagnosed with vision impairment and has new glasses, but we also suspect he may be dyslexic. I'm trying really hard to keep him positive and engaged with his schoolwork. But tonight we had to sit and complete all the homework in one go. He really struggled with that. I wasn't feeling well and it was pretty shitty for both of us if I'm being honest. I don't feel like I can rely on him now, and it does raise questions about how trustworthy he is. He was caught in the lie but has also backtracked and said that I never told him that I didn't want him to go to the event. Our conversations just keep going around in circles. I don't know how to move forward from this and still feel like he's reliable. It doesn't feel like he understands the significance. I don't know how else to convey my frustrations, especially when I am already so exhausted. I understand that people will probably have very strong opinions about this, but I do just ask for kindness. It's been a rough few days, I'm still in a lot of pain, and I'm not going to make any rash decisions whilst I'm in a vulnerable position. You nearly died and you went to a party. How do you have any trust or respect for him? My honest reaction is to ask you to please be easy on yourself right now. You are trying to recover from a major medical ordeal and it sounds like you're adding stress instead of relieving it. Ensure the kids are safe and healthy and then relax and rest as much as you can. Homework can wait. Dealing with your husband can wait.
Giving your mind and body the space to recover is a priority.
He treated your need for surgery like a kid and wife-free vacation weekend. I'd be curious what he was doing in all that time. He's a terrible husband and father, and a liar. Consider that moving forward.
So it appears that you and the children are lower in his priorities than you thought. If as so nearly happened you had not recovered, then the other parent would have been AWOL entirely, not only that you were having major surgery and needed more from him than he is willing to offer.
What you do with that when you are better is a question to ask yourself, but it appears that something needs to change. What is up to you?
You were in the hospital for major medical treatment and your husband left you there? By choice?
That alone baffles me to no end. What is the point of having a partner if they aren't there for you when you need them the most?
6 and 4 is old enough to understand that mommy is sick and in the hospital.
10 months is old enough to see that mommy is gone. All 3 would have been worried and needed their other parent. No matter how close they are to their grandparents, they're not their parents. Even your 4-year-old understands that this was not okay. Adults have adult responsibilities. Parents have parental responsibilities. If he's not taking responsibility, you're going to have to ask yourself why.